The Kansas City Chiefs travel to the far-off dystopian land of San Francisco this weekend, Sunday, in order to take on the 49ers. And guys, I have some thoughts on this one, which will conclude with a prediction for the game itself. Now, some things to take off the top here. There are some headlines around this game that are obvious and that have gotten no shortage of talking time this week. Number one, the 49ers are favored. The 49ers are 3-3. They're favored over the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs coming off of a bye week, which will be the number two talking point here. But Patrick Mahomes finds himself as 9-3 in his NFL career as the underdog. Now, we're going to get into some numbers that maybe you have not heard tossed around so far in correlation with this statistic. Number one, Patrick Mahomes is 79-22 as a starter. He's also 15-3 in the playoffs, meaning that Mahomes has been an underdog just 9.2% of the time, or just once per regular season, roughly twice if you were including the playoffs. Twice per year, Patrick Mahomes has been the underdog in an NFL which prides itself on parity. Patrick Mahomes is the underdog about once a year. How absolutely insane is that? Can he get to 10-3 as an underdog in the NFL? That much is yet to be seen, but man, would it be an impressive feat. Also worth noting with that, if the Kansas City Chiefs were an underdog any more often, just by respecting the averages in the NFL, every year people lose, and this is the ultimate parity league as far as the professional sports are concerned. If Vegas fed into that to the length they should, Patrick Mahomes would be even more impressive as he has such a winning percentage. The number two thing here, the Chiefs are coming off of the bye. Andy Reid is 21-4 off of the bye. It would be an impressive feat to beat the 49ers, and we'll get into a little bit more why later, because despite the fact that the 49ers do come into this game 3-3 and the Chiefs are 5-0, getting to that 6-0 mark would be almost magical. The 49ers are 3-3 and they have trouble putting things away. The 49ers are one of these teams like we saw with the Kansas City Chiefs a few years ago, where they will look good early in games and will refuse to simply finish things out. This has led to them having a 500 record 6 games in to the 2024 season. And if they are not careful with the Kansas City Chiefs, they could find themselves below 500 7 games into their season, because Patrick Mahomes is going to close things out if they allow him the ability to do so. Moving on, the 49ers need this game. It may not seem like that, and sure, the 49ers will only have 4 losses and could find themselves 12-4, 13-4. That math will never be easy for me. I am too old for the adjustment. But they could win 13 entire games on the season if they get on a roll. But they need this game, if for nothing else than the psychological win of knowing they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs, a almost definitive playoff team, one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team in the NFL, and someone to whom they have consistently lost. The 49ers psychologically need this game. However, if the Kansas City Chiefs do win, the Kansas City Chiefs have an opportunity to move to 6-0 on the season, which would take a load of stress off of the rest of the schedule. It's just one more game. It's just one more game at the beginning of the season. That much is true. And sure, strength of schedule means not a whole lot until you get into tie-breaking scenarios in the NFL, but that would allow the Kansas City Chiefs to really only have to win 4 of 11 games down the stretch in order to probably find themselves in the playoffs. They do not plan to do that, but what this allows, as far as the team is concerned, is a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room necessary to figure out some of the quirks of the roster moving forward. You do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire ostensibly coming back sometime soon. Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire a better option than Carson Steele? Is Samaje Perine still a member of the Kansas City Chiefs that you want to be a member of the Kansas City Chiefs? There's been a whole lot of trade talk around Samaje Perine. I don't know that Samaje Perine holds any trade value, but B, I don't think they want to get rid of Samaje Perine. So I don't think also the Kansas City Chiefs want 4 running backs on their roster, especially when they have had so many concerns at wide receiver. And heading into, so you've lost 2 wide receivers for the regular season. This week, Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman both found themselves limited at some point during the practice week. So, do you want to have 4 running backs on the roster, or would you rather have a flex wide receiver? I don't think they want 4 running backs on the active roster. I really don't. And they have a history of going light at running back on the roster, and they don't have the most talented bunch. Right? I think that they have someone with a whole lot of potential in Carson Steele. I think you have someone who has kind of run his game I don't want to say it as if he is trying to game the system. That's not what I mean when I talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this fashion. All I mean is that I think we figured out what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is, and I don't think it's particularly effective at the NFL level. You move past that, Samaje Perine has his calling card lately in his career, which has been receiving, and I think he's good for that still. We maybe haven't seen too much of it here in Kansas City, and then you have Kareem Hunt, which is a giant question mark as far as how is he going to hold up during the rest of this season. So I think we are going to see one of these running backs cut and maybe move to the practice squad, or if there is any trade value, which I don't think there is, traded. So yeah, just moving forward for the Kansas City Chiefs, figuring out balance on the roster is going to be a big deal, and I think that there is an overload at running back. In number 6 here, the 49ers are susceptible on kickoff returns, and they are on their 3rd kicker of the season. They have 2 kickers currently listed as out. So not only might field goals prove problematic for the 49ers should you be able to limit them to those attempts, but they're going to be telling their kickoff man, don't make a tackle. Kick the ball and get off the field. So you could be, not literally, but essentially, so there could be some problems with their kickoff team being basically a man down. Now, when the Chiefs pass, the big thing to watch here is going to be Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa versus, we think, Wanya Morris, whoever it is that is out there. You're going to probably see a whole lot of chips going on. Nick Bosa only has 3 sacks on the season. That's true, but he has 8 quarterback hits and 18 pressures. He is not falling off. He's just not finishing things out to the rate that he is used to so far this season. We do not want, as Kansas City Chiefs fans, for him to get on his high horse in this game. So I think that early, a lot of short passing game stuff is going to be utilized. Now, Juju, as we talked about earlier, Juju Smith-Schuster is listed as questionable. Andy Reid has said he thinks he's going to go. They just want to list him as questionable in case. And Mecole Hardman was a full participant all week that I can find. I believe he was a full participant all week, but he is still with a knee listed on the injury report. I'm going to get into a little bit on point number 4 here about what we're going to want to watch as far as the Kansas City Chiefs when the ball is in the air. But starting this week with Juju Smith-Schuster and as injured and ending the week with him as questionable and Mecole Hardman on the injury report all week is not a promising sign. The Kansas City Chiefs are already shorthanded at the wide receiver spot. After these 2, you have Xavier Worthy, who is a rookie and is going to be productive, I think, against the 49ers. But then you have Justin Watson and Sky Moore. That's all 5 wide receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs. The 49ers have been good against the pass as well. They have allowed exactly one 300-yard passer in 6 games this season. That was Geno Smith, who also was limited to 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions on the game this season. They have also held 3 quarterbacks under the 200-yard passing mark, including Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a tough day for the Kansas City Chiefs to get things going in the passing department, but there is something that plays into their strengths there. If we are assuming that Mecole Hardman is healthy, or will take the field at least, speed seems to give this 49ers defense problems. So Xavier Worthy and Mecole Hardman are going to have their opportunities. Justin Watson might even find himself peculiarly effective in this game. Justin Watson's a big guy, but he runs a 4.44 40-yard dash, and in my opinion, he does not show signs of slowing down. I imagine he's still a 4.44 type guy. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see quick hitters setting up this defense of the 49ers for late game antics where the Chiefs start running more complex routes, maybe giving their left tackle a little bit more help, keeping a tight end attached to the line, just saying, look, don't let him get beat. We've got to get some stuff done downfield. And I think that is going to set the Chiefs up nicely because I think they will have the play action maybe set up at that point to be able to use. Now, I don't think the running game is going to be particularly effective, but I do think that the Chiefs will be able to run the ball a little bit here, and we'll get into why. The leading rusher all season against this 49ers defense that is a good defense was 24 carries for 89 yards. That's the biggest day they've given up this year. That was a 3.7-yard average for Kyren Williams, who, by the way, Kirkwood, Missouri guy. He is 5'9", 195 pounds, and runs a 4.6 40. I believe it was a 4.63 or 4.65 40-yard dash. So you're not looking at a guy in Kyren Williams that is particularly scary physically. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to have a little bit of success here. Kareem Hunt coming off the bye is going to be interesting. He had 102 yards versus the Saints and 69 yards versus the Chargers. This is where we will start to find out how well Kareem Hunt has taken care of himself so far in his NFL career and during his time where he was limited in the NFL. So, the 49ers, the left side of their defensive line is Leonard Floyd at defensive end, who's 240 pounds. Malik Collins at defensive tackle, who's 310, not tiny, but certainly not a hefty defensive tackle. And then they have Jordan Elliott as their other defensive tackle, 303 pounds, out of Missouri, who could provide a power deficiency versus Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey with these Kansas City Chiefs power backs. If the Chiefs can get maybe Carson Steele in there at the fullback position, maybe a tight end on that right side of the line, I think the Chiefs will be able to have a little bit of success running in that direction. And all you need is a little bit of success in order to set up the play action pass in this game. This is a game where I think what we really have to do is look at the microscopic. Don't worry about the big overarching season level stuff for the Kansas City Chiefs. Just pay attention to the wins they are able to get on the field. Are they able to scheme this win into existence? The 49ers, though they're only 3-3, they're a good team. There have been some things that just haven't worked out for them so far this season. Now, when the 49ers pass, here's the most impressive thing maybe that you can say about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is good at taking what is available in the NFL. Something is always going to be available. Brock Purdy has the discipline and intelligence to be able to take advantage of what it is you're giving him. That is what makes him so dangerous. That is what makes him, by the way, a Tom Brady type quarterback. Tom Brady, early in his career particularly, was what is referred to as a game manager. But he was good at it. He was good at taking what was available to him, not overthinking things, get the yards, get the first downs, make the drive, get points at the end of it. Brock Purdy, however, this year is holding onto the ball and taking a lot of pressures and hits. He's been sacked relatively few times, but and we all know how important this is as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He has a sub-90 rating versus the blitz. 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this season versus the blitz. That is a 500 and even rating versus the blitz. Steve Spagnuolo is going to bring the pressure. I imagine what we're going to see is the safeties man up on George Kittle. The linebackers this season have had a lot of struggles in coverage, and I think they're going to be utilized on the blitz more than anything. Now, if maybe Drue Tranquill has had a good week in practice, that is exactly what you would want to see. You would want to see traditionally Drue Tranquill, who was a very good coverage linebacker coming into the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of last season. He struggled a little bit this year. If you think Drue Tranquill can man up on George Kittle, that would be incredible. That would allow more versatility in the blitz. We know Spagnuolo likes to bring safeties on the blitz, and to mix between safety and linebacker blitzes would be a good thing against this 49ers team, because Brock Purdy, like I said, is good at taking what is available to him a lot of times. What is quote unquote available to a quarterback at the NFL level is diagnosed before the play. So they get the snap, they check what they want, and then they take the check down. Then they take what is available to them. Switching between linebacker and safety blitzes would allow the defense to it would eliminate Brock Purdy's ability to really read what is coming beforehand and force him potentially into bad decisions. That's how he has that 3 touchdown, 3 interception split versus the blitz. I think I'm going to call it. Going to call it now. This will be the week that Najee Johnson gets the first sack of his career. Najee Johnson played a lot of snaps last week, or the week before, I guess I should say, and he has very good speed, very good explosive ability. Brock Purdy, not the most nimble runner. The thing you want to do as a pass rusher is affect the throw first. If you can get Brock Purdy off of his platform, make him move around, you have affected the pass. He is not a scrambling quarterback. He is not a running quarterback. He's not bad at those things, but certainly neither of those things are his strong suit. So someone with the speed of Najee Johnson getting on the blitz would, in my opinion, be a good way. Plus, I don't think he's ever blitzed. Would be a good way to disguise things and affect the passing game. Now, as a football fan, moving outside of the Kansas City Chiefs fan status, as a football fan, Ricky Pearsall is officially listed as questionable, may make his NFL debut this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. As much as I want the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, and I think they will, it would be great to see Ricky Pearsall on the field. For anyone who doesn't know, he was shot in the preseason, in the chest in the preseason. So it would be great to see him take the field. It would be great to see him have a decent day, so long as it is not to the extreme detriment of the Kansas City Chiefs. I am rooting for Ricky Pearsall. Jauan Jennings, who we all remember from the Super Bowl, was extremely aggravating, is out this game. So you don't want to root for players to be hurt. You don't want to root for players to not be on the field. But if someone was going to be gone from that 49ers wide receiver core, in my opinion, Jauan Jennings is the one that makes the game the easiest, just because he was so irritating in the Super Bowl. Now, when the 49ers run, there's no Christian McCaffrey. And I'm going to jump to the number 3 injury, or the number 3 point here before getting back to number 2. I should have put that in opposite order. Jordan Mason was a full participant in practice on Friday. He has a shoulder injury. I do not know how much we will see him. Regardless, Isaac Guerendo, who I think a lot of Chiefs fans wanted the Kansas City Chiefs to take a chance on in the draft. We were not expecting him to be a 4th rounder. 6 foot tall, 221 pounds, 4.33 40-yard dash, 41.5-inch vertical, 10 foot 9-inch broad jump, 17 reps in the bench press. Not all the time do these things translate. But last week, he went, not all the time do these physical traits translate to the NFL and being effective, I should say. Last week, he went 22, or on the season, I think. On the season, he has 22 carries, 140 yards. That's a 6.4 yard average. Yeah, it's on the season. A 6.4 yard average is absolutely phenomenal. Now, limited, right? Just 22 carries, but he does have the potential to be that type of guy. Final prediction for this game: Kansas City Chiefs 25, 49ers 22. Why does that sound so stunningly familiar? I can't quite figure it out. But should the Chiefs move to 6-0 on this game, would mean absolutely massive things for them this season. It provides a little bit more grace as far as figuring things out on the roster is concerned. And guys, starting 6-0 has always meant good things for your playoff chances. I think we all expect the Kansas City Chiefs to be in the playoffs. But how far will they go once they are there? Being 6-0 allows them the space in their schedule to tinker with things that should prolong a playoff stay. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here on the channel, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. I've dropped a video for 600 plus days now, I think it is, consecutively, and I hope to have you back for the next one.